Good morning everyone, Mr. Oliver here. I have been asked by the lovely Linda, who is with you today, to say a few words, answer a few questions, a bit of a Q&A from you guys. So thank you firstly for having me at the conference. I know we've got a couple of hundred people there, all really important people in the delivery of quality services. LACA and what it represents and what it stands for is really integral in fighting for higher standards and supporting the cooks and the services around the country. As you know, we're in an interesting time right now in school lunches. After about 40 years of sort of devaluing the service and not investing in the service, I think some amazing things have been achieved in the last 6-7 years for sure, and everyone has had a piece in that. When it comes down to the lunch cook, the lunch kitchen manager, dinner lady, whichever term you want to use, they're some of the most hardworking, diligent, brilliant people in the catering industry. And we have to remember that if I plucked most of the chefs that work in these trendy little restaurants around London, around the country, and put them in a school with the challenges and the pressures that you work under, they would be in tears in about 25 minutes. So I completely stand, humbled by what the lunch services do around the country every day. So basically, the lovely Linda has asked a bunch of questions that represent a whole mixture of the people at the conference today. Pleasure to answer them. So the first question is a fairly general question. How essential are school meals to crusade the fight of rising obesity levels in this country? I guess it's an obvious question, but it's pretty damn good to kick things off. Britain is the most unhealthy country in Europe. A quarter of our kids are coming to primary school overweight or obese. A third of our kids at 11 are overweight or obese. And in my personal opinion, I believe that the most powerful single weapon to fight against diet-related disease and obesity is school lunches and school. Without question, you people in the room today are on the front line. We have 3 million kids having a school lunch every day. And at the same time, there's 3.8 million kids that are registered as living in poverty. So school lunches are really important. It's 1/3 of a child's nutrition. And if they're having breakfast or breakfast club as well, it's over a half of their nutrition for the day. It happens at school 190 days of the year from the age of 4 to 18. It's phenomenally important. So schools and school lunch services are really truly at the front line of public health. And hopefully, if myself and LACA and many others keep fighting the good fight, we'll get this government to start investing long-term, in letting us be as great as we can be. Okay, lovely people, question number 2, bear with me. Do you think more should be done to improve the uptake of free school meals? Uptake in schools is really, really important. And of course, there's not one solution that can move it up. I think there's a stigma thing, we all know that. Even with the card system and the cashless system, many of the systems, the kids still have to say, I'm a free school meals kid. I don't think that's cool at all. I do think that the card system is the future, totally. If it's done properly, guarantee that the cash is loaded on to the card and stays in the school and not up the high street. But I think ultimately, it has to, it's the usual stuff. The room has to work quickly, it has to look nice. Most of our schools were designed to do half the amount of children that they're looking after now. But really, it's a massive marketing job. And little old-fashioned things like not letting the students out at lunchtime, which I'm a massive supporter of. Do not let the kids out at lunchtime. Maybe the sixth formers, but the others, no way. Lock the gates, keep them in. That's your customer base there, and you can control the health of those children while they're in there. Question number 3 is from Brad Pierce in Plymouth City Council. The question from Brad, hi Brad, is what message would you give to LACA and to the school cooks and chefs who have worked so hard over the last 7 years to improve standards and are now facing the prospect of their hard work and efforts being undone by schools' decision to relax the standards? Well, first and foremost, I would say thank you to all of you for upping the ante, for raising the bar. I don't think that there's a school in the country that hasn't improved something. And many have not only improved, they've over-delivered and done some incredible things. And that's all down to you. That's all down to amazing cooks, head cooks, kitchen managers, working better with councils or with companies, third parties, the Scolarests, the Compasses, the Sodexos. I really think it takes all of us, to get involved and raise the bar. So thank you, well done. But the reality is we are providing services currently in a really dark time. It's been 40 years of lack of investment. And, that we keep talking about obesity and bad health, but, we haven't yet had a minister that sees that what we do is absolutely the strongest, most powerful front line of the fight against obesity and bad health. So we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. We cannot let up. It's going to take 10, 15 years to push it up to a place that we're really, really proud of. But it needs money. We need investment. That's what I would say. We have to convince both parents and a high proportion of head teachers and counsellors, and most importantly government, that what we do is one of the most important things in public health. Let me just put it in perspective. Teaching kids about food in school and the school lunch that they have really can have the power to change how long a student can live on this little planet and how long their kids will live on this little planet. If you do not do your geography homework, you're not going to, die young. And I really think that food education in school, which I know is outside of your jurisdiction, and school lunch service, these two things together are the single most powerful thing that can be done to inspire the next generation. And we've got to fight for that. So good luck, and I guess don't lose faith. And if I may just finish off that bit by saying the one weapon that we have is consistency. If we keep flying the flag, pushing the standards, fighting for the best, right? If we keep doing it, these governments and these politicians, they're like ships that pass in the night. I've met 7 in the last 8 years. These people do not hang around. So eventually, I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be a real good egg and we can set something up for the next 10 years instead of just year there. So if we're consistent, we've got a chance. Okay, question number 4 is from Cara Williams from Birdseye. Nice to have you and nice to have the question. Often it's said that the biggest challenge for school meal providers to face is educating the parents to understand how good school food is and the quality and value for money that a school lunch can be. How would I approach this challenge? I think there's so much that we can do, and it's impossible to talk about all the things that you can do, but the one thing that's really important is the head teacher and the head cook and the representative of the council or the company that's running the catering coming together and seizing any opportunity to communicate with parents in a positive way. You all have to work together to shout about how brilliant you are and have a strategy in place. So essentially it's marketing. I think in primary school it's easier because the parents are more involved. In secondary schools, the parents are much more distanced, much more. Probably the only chance you're ever going to get in secondary school is parents' evening. So use it. Every parents' evening, amazing food, scream the values, have the head cook there, you know, have the teachers supporting you. I mean, in America when I've worked, I mean, there's many things wrong with what they're doing over there, but there's actually quite a lot right. For instance, a little primary school with 500 kids, and big schools as well, they have like SMS services to parents, you know, but you can use that technology, which is very cheap, to talk to your parents about school food. Good old-fashioned letter home, well, it's better to be paperless, but if you're still doing that, you know, you've got an opportunity to talk about it. Parents' evening, get in there. In the dinner hall itself, I think even when the kid joins the school, that's another opportunity. The head really needs to support you in this. For instance, when the parents are slightly vulnerable when their kids join a school, it's an opportunity to set your stall out as you mean to go on. That is the most important bit, to say, this is our food, this is what we stand for, we meet the standards, we over-deliver on the standards, this is how we run the menus. This is a plate of food, it's got all the lovely things in there, it tastes delicious, and if you want something like that in the high street, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 quid. You know, so showing and screaming about value in those small windows of opportunity in a school life is so important. But you really need a strong head teacher that can talk and that supports you to sell it, sell it. And it comes down to really good multi-dimensional marketing. I know it's a big old load of words, but ultimately, if you've got a good food service and between your catering manager and the head teacher, you're able to use every single trick in the school to communicate with the parents with positivity and great ideas and an overall sense of value, service, you know, taste, you're going to do well. Some schools do it really well. You need to have the manager and the head teacher, possibly with the support of the caterer and the local authority, to really push it. That the food needs to be there for the kids, for the parents to be able to taste and see and smell. So marketing, really, really important. Anyway, that's all of the questions I'm doing today. Thank you for letting me be at your conference. Really, this forum, as you know, is nowhere near enough to express all the little details that makes up a brilliant service and where services can go. But I guess the one thing that we've all got in common, and I think that's across the board, really we're all striving for excellence and we're all trying to do better. And those nutritional standards allow us, even if we're competing at times, to fight at a high level and provide a better service. Certainly I appreciate everything that you do. I've seen the changes in schools across the country. I've seen the changes in so many schools, and it's all down, you know, to groups like yourself. And thanks to LACA, because we need spokespeople and we need people like yourself to share the important subjects and keep chipping away at the consistently under-impressive incompetence of government, left or right wing. None of these guys have supported us to allow us to do our jobs properly for a long time, and that's got to change. So bless you all, good luck, and here's to the next 10 years. Take care.